Hi guys, today we're going to take a look at our shark's external and internal anatomy to get us ready for our shark dissection that we're going to be doing. I am still working on writing your quiz for you guys to take online. I'm going to be using quizzes. You may have used that for math before, and I will share that quizzes with you through Classroom. Basically, you're going to get a diagram, external and internal anatomy, and I will then have the numbers, what is this showing, and you guys get to select which answer you think is going to be correct, and I think I'm giving you 20 seconds for each question. To get us ready for that, if we're looking at our external anatomy here, what we labeled in class today, we're going to go ahead and label on our picture here. Got my wonderful picture of a shark, aka torpedo, with some fins. And we're going to start by labeling some of these fins. If we're looking at the back side of the organism, we're talking about the dorsal side, and we see that there are two dorsal fins on our shark. We have our first one, which is going to be bigger than our second dorsal fin. And if we keep working our way back, we have a tail fin. This is called the caudal fin. And our caudal fin on the dogfish shark, the top half is going to be bigger than the smaller half, and so this is called heterocercal, hetero being different, and then circle, we're looking at different sizes of our tail here. If we're going to keep labeling some more fins here, up here near the chest area, we see the pectoral fin. And we're going to see this will be on either side of the shark. We're just looking at one view of the shark. Working our way back, we have the pelvic fin near the pelvis area. And then we have the anal fin, the very back fin here. If we're going to keep labeling some things here, near our pelvic fin, this is where we're going to see the cloaca. And you guys remember from our frog, this is just a general opening where all waste are going to exit, so that's going to include urine, feces. Then we also see sperm and egg are going to be released through this opening. Now, when we're down here near the pelvic fin, if we are trying to determine the sex of it, we'll see two claspers on either side of this cloaca opening here if we have a male. And if there is no claspers, then we're going to have a female. And basically these claspers are just going to be used to transfer sperm from the male to the female because fertilization is going to happen internally, which is our one exception here to fish in general. Up here near the head, the snout is our rostrum, just like with our crawdad. And we see on the ventral side of the rostrum, there are going to be some external nares. And they're going to be two different sizes. The larger of the external nares is actually going to push water out, and the smaller one, water is going to come into. Now that I've kind of drawn over this here, we can put our eye on here, and the covering of the eye is the nictitating membrane. Spelling that right? Just like we saw with the frog, the nictitating membrane is here to act as a swim goggle. Right behind the eye, we see there is another opening, and this is going to allow water to be brought in and to be pushed over the gills so our shark can breathe without having to have its mouth open. And this opening is called a spiracle. And we also see this in insects, but it's going to be located behind their walking legs. So with our spiracles here, let's go ahead and we'll put some gills on our shark, and we're going to see there's 5 gill slits on either side. And then we'll go ahead and draw some teeth on our shark. Lots and lots of rows of teeth. As these teeth get worn down and fall out, a new row of teeth are going to pop up. And then lastly, externally on our shark, we're going to see a lateral line. And this is used to detect movement and pressure in the water so they can find their prey. If we flip over, we can take a look at some of this internal anatomy here of our shark. When we first cut into our shark, what we're going to see, mainly taking up the abdomen cavity, is going to be this really, really large liver that's going to have 3 lobes to it. And I'm going to draw these lobes here, kind of like what we did in class, off to the side, so that way we can see some of the other structures in the abdomen. And this liver is going to be kind of oily, used for buoyancy in our shark. Now, behind the liver, just like in the frog, there's going to be a little sac here for the gallbladder. It's going to store the bile made by the liver and then be used to break down fats. If we're looking here, I'm going to pick a color for our digestive system, like we didn't kind of follow this throughout. Coming down from the mouth, we're going to have a small tube that's going to pass the food down, and this is the esophagus. And that's going to pass food then into our J-shaped stomach. Now, something special about the stomach here that is a little bit different than in the frog. When we get to the end of the stomach, right about here-ish in the top part of the curve here of our J, this special section of the stomach is given the name duodenum. From here, we see that food is going to be then passed into a spiral intestine, and these spirals are going to increase the surface area here and help with absorption of nutrients, and this is our typhlosil. So we're going to go ahead and just label the intestine as it is. And then specifically the spiral section inside is our typhlosil. To increase surface area. As we're getting down near the end of our intestine, we see that there is going to be a little finger-like projection here, and this is going to be the rectal gland. And this is going to be used to help regulate water inside the body. It's going to secrete salts. Because it's swallowing a lot of salt water, instead of having water rush out of the cells, we're going to make the inside a little bit salty too, so it can keep water in its cells. Alright, using a different color here, hugged up next to the stomach, we see a little triangle-shaped organ here. This is going to be the spleen. Just like your spleen, it's going to be used to make red blood cells. And then hugging up on the duodenum, kind of around it here, kind of draw it like this, we'll shade it in a little bit here for you, is the pancreas. And the pancreas is going to be used to help regulate sugar. Now, if we follow the gallbladder down from behind the liver, we will see that there is a duct that will empty into the duodenum here. We can follow that up. If we're having trouble finding the gallbladder, we can find this bile duct, and that will lead us to the gallbladder behind our liver here. Let's go ahead and put some gill slits up here. And again, we're going to have 5 above this. And we can go ahead and draw our 2-chambered heart. That's going to be used to pump the blood throughout the shark. Going to be just sitting above the liver. And we can go ahead and add some gonads here. If we have a male with claspers, we're going to see testes, and these are going to be smaller than the ovaries, and they're going to sit on either side of the stomach here. We're going to draw and color these blue. And if we happen to have a female, we're going to find ovaries, and again, it's going to kind of run down on either side of the stomach here. I'm going to draw them more off to the side. And these are going to be a little bit larger, but we're still going to see this oval shape here. So we're going to see an ovary. Last thing that we're going to go ahead and add to our picture here, but we're probably not going to see when we are dissecting, is we are going to see a more complex brain than what we have seen in our other animals, but we're probably not going to be able to cut up high enough into the head or into the skull to be able to see this. But they do have a complex brain with multiple lobes. And I think that's everything that we need to know for our internal. We're not going to have a review session for this quiz because it's going to be online. I will let you know through Classroom when this quiz is available, and we need to have it taken by Monday before 8:20 so we can do our dissections.